Hey fam, hope you're having an amazing day. So I am going to share a video that's going to help you to tap into a lot more of what you are capable of. So if you're feeling stuck, if you've been feeling like you've kind of plateaued, you've been hitting that glass ceiling and you're wanting that next level, this is going to help you to be able to tap into a lot more of your potential. So check it out. So today's topic of conversation, I just got off an exploratory call with an incredible Nan Mark, who is interested in starting to tap into more of his greater potential. And it was such an incredible call and I'm super excited for him. And some of the stuff that we talked about, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to come on here and share this with you guys because there are many of us who are starting to have things come into our awareness where we're realizing that things in our life is not working. Hi, everybody. Where things in our life don't seem to be working. And we cannot use our willpower alone to change our situation. And it is frustrating. And we're like, why aren't things working? Is there something wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what's going on? I've got these mental blocks, like all of this stuff. And it can be a frustrating place to be in. And I've experienced many of this, and that's actually what led me into the work that I currently do today with the spiral and with Recover and Rise and the recovery work and everything that I'm doing. And so I wanted to come on here and just share a little bit more about that process of why sometimes we get into these places of feeling stuck and we are basically running into a wall all the time and we just can't seem to change our actual physical reality or call in the things that we actually want in life. Hi, Kristen. When it comes to our business, when it comes to our relationships, when it comes to who we are as a person, who we're showing up as. And sometimes we wear these masks and we show up into different situations where we think that the way that we show up is going to please other people, right? And all of this stuff that happens, we kind of get lost in this realm of like not understanding why. And then we get into our mental space and we judge ourselves. We are like, what the heck's going on? There must be something wrong with me. And then we just feel stuck. And then we get into a depressive state and we start downward spiraling. Right? And so when that stuff happens, I just want to reframe this for you. When we have stuff like this happen, I want you to start saying, thank you so much for all of this awareness that is happening. Oh my gosh, when this stuff, I am a huge fan of shadow work because it will change your life when you start understanding how this stuff works, right? We've been programmed a lot in society to see that when we are struggling or things aren't working our way, then there's something that's going wrong. When in reality, this is actually just opening us up and expanding us to see a new something that is possible for us that maybe we weren't seeing before, right? It's like a diamond that's under pressure, right? When we are put under pressure, we pop it on the other end and we start seeing things that are now possible for ourselves that maybe we didn't see before. Right? So when we are having these things come into our awareness, we're like, I want to change this, but I don't quite know how. We a lot of the time, we try to manipulate our physical environment. We try to manipulate people, and this may be conscious, maybe unconscious. We try to just manipulate things in our physical world to make things work, right? But we realize that never actually fixes the problem, right? And then we have our mental space. Right? We've been very conditioned as well to go to our mental space, which is amazing. So we go to our mental space and we're like trying to like logically like figure shit out. We're like, why isn't this working? What can I change? What can I this? And that's how it's like a chess game of life, right? The thing with that is that we're only really tapping into about 5% of our mental space, right? Because we have our conscious mind, which is what we can see. And then we have our unconscious mind, which is what we can't see. And 95% approximately is in our subconscious mind, so we can't even see it, right? So this is why we can't create changes that are going to get us where we actually want to go because we are only using the 5% of our conscious mind, right? And this is mind-blowing. If you guys have any questions in this, like fire them away in the chat box there. So when we understand this, that there's this whole other world that's back here in our minds, this subconscious mind, right? That is actually holding all of our past stuff. And a lot of the time, that's actually what's blocking us from receiving the things that we actually want in life, right? And so when we can start bringing this stuff from our subconscious mind into our conscious mind so we can start seeing it, then we can then start making changes. So this is what, when we talk about personal development and going inward into our inner world to then make shifts in the outer world, this is exactly what this is, right? So it's going into our inner world, which is in our thoughts, in our emotions, in our ways of being, the way that we show up in the world, right? Our behaviors, how we respond to things or how we react to things, right? Those are two different things. We can either be reactive to things. So if something happens in our external environment, our boss does something, our coworker does something, somebody cuts you off when you're driving, all of these things happen, and we can either react to them, which is a more impulsive thing to do, or we can, the other way, respond to them, right? So we can then sit with it and feel it in our bodies and be like, okay, this happened. What is my role in this? Am I able to navigate through this? What is the most efficient way that I can see myself moving through this, right? And so when we can't see and we don't understand this process, we will likely be living in this reactive state more than we have to be. And so when we can start shifting into being in that responsive state, that's when you start manifesting all of the things that you want in life. All right, you guys following? Put a yes in the comments if you guys are following what I'm saying right now. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in there. So when we are coming from this reactive state, life just doesn't really work out for us because we're constantly reacting to things. When we're coming from this responsive state, that's when we can actually start receiving the things that we actually want in life. So what is the difference between these two, right? We have this subconscious mind, which is all of our past experiences. So all of the little things that you may think are not a big deal may actually be a big deal, right? Even like, I remember going through this journey, and I actually did a session like with myself. I had a friend of mine put me through a session, and I had stuff coming up from my childhood, guys, from being bullied in elementary school. There were times like kids were like picking on me and like making fun of my blonde hair glowing in the sun. And I remember actually, like, when I was young, I shaved my back, guys, because I felt so horrible that these kids were saying this to me. And I was tiny. I was such a small child, right? And this stuff stuck. It stuck that there was something wrong with me, that me as myself, am not good enough. And that stuck with me. And this was showing up in my everyday life, in my relationships. And I wouldn't show up fully as myself, and I thought that there was something wrong with me, which impacted my ability to feel secure in who I am, my ability to be authentically myself, right? And so all of these things are stored in our subconscious, and the mind is just a record of the past, right? So all of these things that happen in our childhood, all throughout our life, relationship breakups, all of the weird stuff that happens where you're just like, I don't understand why that happened, but that hurt me, and we don't acknowledge those hurts that we've experienced. They all get stored in that mind, right? And a big piece of our mind is actually for protection. It's for our safety. And a lot of that stuff, it also, yes, there's the physical safety, but then there's also the emotional and energetic safety as well. And so when we are holding all of these old situations and our mind is constantly in this state of survival, or in this state of being timid or shy about what's happening based off of all of those past experiences, we will show up in different ways in our behaviors in order to accommodate for that, right? And so this is where most people are living in this. And my vision for Reignite Your Soul, for everything that I'm doing, is I want to make this shit mainstream. We were talking about this with on the call that I just did, and he was saying that. He's like, yeah, like, do you see like this will be something that will be mainstream? Yes, this used to be work that only the high performers in society used to access this stuff. But this really truly is stuff that every human being can benefit from in one way or another. Because the way that we do one thing is the way we do everything. And when we start shifting toward, like, say, a business goal, we have a dream for a business goal, everything will start shifting in our whole entire life. When we start focusing on that one thing, we start doing this inner work. So it's really exciting stuff. And so with that, when we don't start accessing all of this stuff and we are being shy, or we don't want to dive into our shadows, or we don't want to dive into our past traumas, or we have this thing where it's like, no, I didn't actually have a bad life or a bad childhood or all of these things, right? I don't need this trauma work. Every human being on this planet has experienced some sort of trauma. There's big traumas, and then there's the mini T traumas, which all accumulate into bigger traumas they found when they've done research. And so for me, I growing up. I had a few, like 1 or 2 big things. I had a sexual trauma when I was maybe about like 3, and I don't really remember fully what happened, but I know that it happened. Besides that, if you looked at my life from the outside looking in, it looked like it was great. I was middle class family. We had all the toys. We had all of the things. My family was present. My parents were together at that point. They aren't anymore. But they were together. Like, we were a close-knit family. We had money so that we could get all of the basic things we wanted, plus more. We had sports. We had all of these things. But the biggest thing that I didn't receive as a child was emotional support, because my parents were so busy providing for the family that they literally didn't even have self-awareness around their own inner world or their own emotions or their own feelings, and they didn't have the skills to communicate it. So I never had that as a child, and for whatever reason, I internalized things, right? If you think about when you're a child, you're still learning like what life is about. My niece Maya, my mom was walking with her the other day, and they're walking past the forest, and Maya's like, I want to go in the forest, and grandma's like, or my mom's like, she's like, we can't walk in the forest right now, we're just gonna walk on the road. And so she was like, I don't understand why we can't walk in the forest. And she was like, Grandma, I'm so mad. These trees, they won't move. And my mom's like, what do you mean the trees won't move? She's like, I'm telling the trees to move and they won't move. Because she hasn't even created that reality yet. She doesn't understand that trees are locked in solid in the earth. And it doesn't matter how many times you ask that tree to move, that tree will not move. Right? And this is the thing that we forget, is that our minds, everything, our entire reality that we know was conditioned mainly from 0 to 7 years old, which is wild. So a lot of it comes down to the environment that we had as a child. And so even for me, even though I had all of the amazing stuff that I had, the biggest thing that I didn't receive was the emotional piece. And with that, I internalized a lot of stuff. And I created stories around me not being good enough or me this, which then carried through my entire life up until I got into this work. And it was huge because it just started shifting my life in such amazing ways where I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know this stuff was possible. I used to dream of being a doctor, but I never took that action on that because I didn't think that I wanted to go through all the schooling, or it just wasn't worth what I wanted. Right? And so now it's like, now having that mindset, I'm now building a business. I've got fucking vision. You know, it's like I'm going for it. I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And that was all possible because of this work. And so when we're only focusing on the physical realm and that 5% of the mental realm, we are missing out on 95% of the mental realm. Plus we're missing out on the energetic realm, the spiritual realm, and the emotional realm. And I tell you, when you unlock these 3, this is where life starts getting exciting. It literally, like law of attraction, everything that we could possibly desire is possible for us. And when we can unlock that realm in our body, not just in the mental space, a lot of time you'd be reading books about the law of attraction or about all of these concepts that are held in our mental space. They will just stay in our mental space as concepts until we learn how to shift them and integrate them into our body, and then move forward with these actual mental programs through our actual system and operating through it, right? If you think about like a computer, you've got like your, I don't know which one's which. We'll go software is like basically like the programs on your computer, and then it downloads into your hardware, which is like the long-term file, right? So when we've got our mind, it's like we do something. If I want to I have nootropics here. If I want better focus, I can take this nootropic every single day, right? So I want to build a habit of that. And with that comes repetition. Eventually, right now, I might have to consciously think, okay, I need to take my nootropics today. And sometimes maybe I'll forget, right? But maybe I'll need a reminder that says, take your nootropics. I take it every single day. And eventually, I won't need any reminder to take these nootropics, because this is going to be so integrated into my way of being that I no longer need to think about taking this. And that's exactly what all of this stuff is. It's taking it then from the conscious mind to the subconscious mind to shift these patterns, right? But now imagine being able to take from the unconscious mind into the conscious mind to actually see more, to then start shifting these patterns. That's the biggest piece of what is possible with stuff like the spiral. which is really the deconstruction process of all of the past stuff that you've hung on to from your past. If you don't know what the spiral is yet, go to the link in my bio, click on the link, and then scroll down a little bit, and you'll see it says, learn more of the spiral, something about the spiral. Click on there, watch the video on there, and read through that page, and you'll see how it actually works. So you're deconstructing all of this stuff in your mind, which then works through all of the different realms of the energetic, the spiritual, the mental, the physical, and the emotional. And you're shifting all of this stuff internally, and then you show up in a different way. And then naturally, when I start showing up in a different way, we manifest different things. And that's how we actually receive what we want to receive in life. It's not like some magic trick. It kind of is, but it's not, right? It doesn't have to be a secret magic trick. Every human being should understand how they actually operate to be able to have these things happen in their life, because we all deserve all of the abundance that we friggin' want, right? Like if you want to have lots of money, have lots of money. If you want to have an awesome relationship, have an awesome relationship. If you want to build the business of your dreams, build the business of your dreams. If you want to be an incredible artist or musician or DJ, go do it, right? The only things that are stopping you are the stuff that's back here, right? So all of the stuff that is here available on this planet is available to every single one of us, which means that if there is somebody else that has done what you are doing, or even if there isn't, that vision that's inside of you is there for a reason. Now it's up to you to be able to take action on it and start doing it, right? So that's what the spiral is, that deconstruction process of all of that shit, so that you can then start with that blank slate and then start recreating your life in a way that actually feels good to you. And it's exciting, right? Because when we start building our life based off of how we feel and what feels good to us versus what we think will bring us success, or what we perceive other people want us to do so that we feel good, right? All of these things in our mental space, then we aren't actually receiving the full juiciness of life, the actual, like, all of the amazing abundance that's actually here for us to actually receive. So how is this going for everybody? How is this landing? I'd love to know in the comments. Let me know. Hi, James. I'm super happy you're on here. That's awesome. Hello, hello. I am getting to the end of this live, but I will post it on my page, so you can always go back and rewatch it. So if you have any other questions, if anybody who has been on here for a little bit has questions, put them down below. But is this something that you can see value in? Oh, thanks, Adam. I appreciate you. Is this something that you can see value in, right? Is this a journey that you're willing to go on? Because we can all talk about the things that we want. And once again, this is where most of society is. Oh yeah, well, we'll talk about our problems. We'll talk about them all the time. And we just stay in this state that we actually normalize gossip, and we normalize drama, and we normalize our own shit that's not working, just because people don't have these tools to be able to get where they want to go, right? But imagine you had like a tool to be able to get where you want to go. Like, that's freaking epic. It's huge. And we all deserve that life that we want. So I hope that this served you. I would love to know if you want to put in the comments what your biggest takeaway from this live was. If you want to put it into the comments, I would love to read it. And if you have any other questions as well, then please feel free to put them in the comments and I can answer them. I haven't been coming on live here very often. I've been having lots of stuff going on behind the scenes that I've been focusing on, but I do love coming on here and sharing with you guys. So and if you don't have any questions or anything else, then that's amazing. Thomasville, is that North Carolina? Awesome. Welcome. That's so exciting. I love how we can really come on social media and stuff like that and just connect with people all around the world. Awesome. Yeah, definitely go check out the spiral. Yeah, you're welcome. It's a nice reminder to be conscious. Yeah. And with the spiral too, I just got certified at the end of last year to do group spirals, which are really awesome because for me, then I get to put more people through it. It's gonna be more cost effective for you. And it's gonna be something that you can actually, I want this stuff to be available for everybody, guys. I honestly do. Like, I want this to be available for everybody. So the group spirals are great because then I can take more people through it, which is awesome. Response over reaction. Yeah, massive. Yeah. And all those reactions, like, they're all just like little mini landmines, right? They like, we hit something, somebody says something, all of these things that like brings something up within us. And the only reason it's coming to the surface and it's bringing all of this emotional disruption is because we're ready to take a look at it so we can heal from it and we can move forward. Everything in this lifetime is truly intentionally happening for us. And these human vessels that we're in are like fully equipped to navigate everything in this outside world, regardless how chaotic it may seem right now. I know if you watch the news at all, I pop on every once in a while to just see what's up, what's going on. And you just see what's happening in the world right now. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, it's wild. And it could be a reactive state. I know I've been in that place where something would happen and over the last couple of years, and I'd be in a reactive state, and then I had to really go inward in order to shift through it so that I could be in a more responsive state with everything going on. But it's massive, and coming from that reactive state, not only is it more effective for what we want to build, but it's also a more enjoyable process, right? We get to be living in these places of like peace and joy and not being in these like agitated kind of like uncomfortable energies in our body. We get to be more relaxed and more free flowing through life. So that's massive. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mindy. Yeah, and once again too, just pop up to the link in my bio and then click on, it says something about learn more about the spiral. I'll have to find out the exact wording of it, but learn more about the spiral. Just read through that page. There's a video on there. Read through it. And if you do want to book a free 30-minute, or usually 60 minutes, I should just put 60 minutes, exploratory call, then just go click there, to book the exploratory call. And then there's also a form that you can fill out as well if you are interested in being moved through the spiral. Right now I'm currently, probably have space for maybe 1 or 2 one-to-one clients. And then in the new year, I'm going to be launching some more group spiral stuff. But it's great to now already start thinking about that new year now, right? So if you're wanting to really make 2023 a year where you're having these big shifts, then start thinking about that now and start setting yourself up financially to make the investment into it coming into the new year. That was something that on the call that I just had with the gentleman that was on there, was that he's like, and I want to really praise him for this because he was amazing. He's like, okay, give me all of the information and I'm gonna get my ducks in order and I'm gonna let you know in the new year when I'm able to do this. Like, that's the mentality that it takes if you want to receive the stuff that you want to receive. You can't keep going off of the excuses or, oh, I can't do this because of this, oh, the finances, oh, this. It's like, you just fucking figure it out. You figure out a way and you commit to yourself that you are worth going on this journey and you just go for it. And then from there, you will see kind of like what will unfold for you. Right? So if you're planning on going on a spiral journey early next year, start going on a call right now. Start getting the information. Start figuring your shit out so that you can make that happen. And with the spiral, it's a 3-month journey. The integration of it, because it's all like basically fine-tuning all of the inner energies, the emotions, all of this stuff. You're going to have so many learning experiences through this process. The integration of stuff showing up in your physical world is actually 6 months to a year after you complete the spiral. Right? So this isn't like a quick fix, like shit just coming. Like, this is a journey. Like, you're committing to a journey. And the 3-month journey with me is really just the opening of this box of what's possible for you. And my hope for you is that as you move through this journey, it really allows you to see that you have so much more potential and so much more available to you than you could ever freaking imagine. There's so much more abundance out here than you can ever imagine. Right? So that's really what this is. It's an introductory box opening, if you will, so that you can start seeing what's possible for you. And then there's other things like recover and rise, which is the rebuild. And I use this analogy on the call, but the spiral is like the deconstruction process. It's friggin' like hitting the demolition button, demolishing all the old stories so that you're starting to build your life from the ground up in a way that feels good to you. And if you notice, I didn't say what you think is good for you. Because a lot of the time what we think is good for us actually isn't good for us. It's just based off of an old mental story. And when we start understanding, when we build our lives from what feels good, it may look different in our mental space or in our physical world than what we ever thought it would, because it opens up new doorways and things start becoming possible that weren't possible before. So Recover and Rise is that 10-week online course where you're getting modules, you're getting worksheets, you're getting meditations and audios and videos to move through that are giving you the tools to be able to navigate your inner world so you can actually be able to create the life that you want. So this is just currently being revamped right now, so it's not even fully out yet right now. But it will really show you the behaviors that you have, both physical behaviors and the emotional patterns that you're holding that are creating your life right now. You're going to be able to see how they're impacting your life. You're going to be able to learn more about the stories that you have in your head and how they impact your life, right? What we tell ourselves, we become. So if I'm telling myself it's not possible or I don't have the finances for this, you're going to manifest that, right? We create our realities. And when we can start shifting that mental space and understanding that, we can start shifting and start saying things different to ourselves and start creating new stories. So we go through all of that in there. We go through fears. Fear is a huge thing. And maybe you don't have a good relationship with fear and what that feels like in your body. So you may be like, oh, I'm not living in fear. All of us are living in fear in one way or another, because fear is a part of our human conditioning. Our mind, like I said, it's there to keep us safe, right? So when we can build a good relationship with that part, that primal part of our brain, then we start making decisions in our life based off of the more higher intellectual pieces and not making decisions based off of the fear places. So when you start understanding fear, there's massive benefits to come from it. Resentments, when we hold resentments and past hurts that other people did and we don't voice them, it's like a little cancer that just grows in relationships and it destroys relationships, right? And with that, you can't really create a fulfilling life without the fulfilling community around you to support you. We are not meant to be doing things alone. We're meant to be doing things together in community. So we go through that about really building your legacy, about forgiveness. Everything is in that 10-week online course. So all of this stuff is coming. So things are here for you, right? They're here for you to help you get where you want to go. It's just about you committing to that journey for yourself, getting the information and figuring out a way for you to make this happen. And this isn't the only way that you can make this happen. There's tons of other practitioners or other people that you may follow that can also provide you a roadmap to get from where you are to where you want to go. But I really felt called to come on here and just share all of this with you, because information is really so valuable. And I wish that I had this information years ago, right? I wish that I had it in my teen years or in my early 20s when I was really shifting through stuff. This stuff is so valuable. So I hope that this served you. It was so awesome to just be able to come on here and have this chat with all of you. Thank you so much for all of you that were on here live with me. I appreciate you. And if you're catching the replay as well, thank you so much for being on here. And if anybody has any questions or anything, just feel free to send me a DM, or you can send me an email. Those are probably the two best ways to get a hold of me. If you do send me a DM, I want you to put in the very beginning, question, write the word question right in there, or inquiry. One of the two, question or inquiry, so that in big capital letters, so that I know that that is something specific for this, because I get lots of messages and I can't filter through them all. I just literally, I don't have enough time in my day to be able to go through them. So that way I will know to do it, or just send me an email. My email is in the link in my bio as well, or on my website, or just book a free exploratory call and we can chat on there. But I love you. Hi, Juanita. I'm just popping off here now, but I'm going to post this as a recording. So definitely feel free to check that out. But I love you all so much. I'm so proud of you for moving through everything that you're moving through right now. I know that life can be a challenging, big, wild journey. And I'm here with you throughout the journey, walking by your side. So if you have any questions or anything, then reach out. Oh, I love you too. And I'll chat with you guys soon. Bye-bye. Mwah.